Ooh. Ow! This is no life for anyone.
1, 2, 3. Make sure it's all flat for you.
My weight loss is great, but I think the hardest part for me.
I've been trapped within these four walls for more than 2 years. And during that time, I have not stood, not one time. So most of everything around this house.
Mila has a lot of issues that we need to address.
12 years ago, I wanted to lose the weight and start a family and get a job.
Let's start with Robert Buchel, the man from Forked River, New Jersey, who practically redefined what it means to hit rock bottom. Weighing in at 840 pounds, his appearance on the show was nothing short of a jaw-dropping spectacle. But let's be real here. Robert wasn't just another heavy patient for Dr. Nowzaradan to add to his list of challenges. Robert was a ticking time bomb of complications, from his sheer size to a painkiller addiction that could give even the most seasoned junkie a run for their money. His story is the kind of emotional roller coaster that makes you question why you even watch reality TV in the first place. Are you ready to witness transformations that redefine what it means to fight back? Stick around as we dive into the incredible journeys of these patients who turned their struggles into inspiration. Trust me, you won't want to miss a second of this.
First thing I think of when I wake up in the morning is that I feel blessed and shocked at the same time, because it's almost unbelievable that I woke up. The pain I feel when I wake up is all over. And I feel sometimes that I can't take or live this life one more minute.
Hey, Catherine.
Yeah.
I go to the bathroom.
All right. Robert was the kind of guy who had all the ODDs stacked against him, yet he still harbored this optimistic dream of marrying his fiancée, Catherine. Now, Catherine wasn't just his girlfriend. She was his everything. His rock, his caregiver, his emotional life raft in a sea of despair. And then there was his mom, the emotional backbone of this tragic tale. The more you look at it, the more you realize that Robert's entire existence was propped up by the women in his life, which, let's be honest, only added to the complexity of his situation. I mean, how do you fight for your life when everyone else is fighting for it harder than you are?
I'm trapped in this body, I call it prison. I am trapped in myself. And the tasks that Catherine has to endure every day just to even take care of me, I can see it wearing down herself. It's certainly not what she signed up for, coming into my life. But that's the position I forced us both into right now.
When reality finally hit Robert like a freight train, he knew it was time to call in the cavalry. Enter Dr. Nowzaradan, who, upon seeing Robert's critical condition, must have wondered how this guy was even still alive. Dr. Now didn't mess around. He had Robert admitted to the hospital faster than you can say strict diet. But it wasn't just about losing weight. It was about kicking a painkiller habit that had spiraled out of control. Who knew that chasing a little relief could lead to stomach ulcers and a one-way ticket to rock bottom?
The amount of painkillers he had in his system, it's the highest I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot. And that alone has deteriorated his body significantly, on top of the amount of weight he has on him. But I don't think he even realizes the amount of painkillers he's been taking in. And my big concern right now is the painkillers he's been taking are very strong.
Now, you'd think after being put on a strict diet and engaging in bed exercises, Robert would start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And for a while, he did. He dropped down to 625 pounds. A feat that probably felt like climbing Mount Everest with a refrigerator strapped to your back. Dr. Now, seeing this progress, decided to send Robert to rehab to wean him off the painkillers and get him moving a bit more. The tension was palpable. Everyone watching was practically holding their breath, waiting to see if Robert could keep it together.
I certainly had my doubts at first when I thought about coming down here, but then when the realization of just the prison I've been in all these years, it certainly makes it easier coming here and knowing what I have to do and get done. The most thing I worry about is definitely getting qualified for surgery. I know the doctor wants me to certainly get my weight down. That's why I'm making every effort I possibly can to reach that goal of surgery in time.
Let's not get too carried away with hope, because life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. 9 months into his journey, the physical and mental toll began to crush Robert. After surgery to remove a massive lymphedema, he spiraled into a dark place, sabotaging his recovery in a desperate bid for more painkillers. It was a shocking moment, one that left everyone stunned. How do you root for someone who seems hell-bent on self-destruction?
Today, we are doing lymphedema removal on Robert to take off the large mass on his right side. He will still have the left one because it will be too much for his body to remove both in the same surgery. So if he does well with this one, we can remove the other one in 5 or 6 weeks.
And then, just like that, it was over. On November 15th, 2017, Robert's heart gave out and he passed away at the age of 41. Just 5 months on the show, and his story came to an abrupt, tragic end. When his episode aired in 2018, it was like a gut punch to every viewer who had been rooting for him. His journey, filled with UPS and downs, love and loss, ultimately ended in tragedy. It's the kind of story that sticks with you, a brutal reminder of just how fragile life is and how desperately we need to rethink how we support those battling addiction.
Because I figured, well, we're never gonna get a chance. At least let me do it now. Next year we were planning to get married when he was okay and walking and better. And again, that reality had to set in this morning that it's not gonna happen. Everything that we were planning is gone. Absolutely everything. And I don't know how to process the fact that I lost my best friend and person I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with.
Brittani's journey is raw, it's messy, and honestly, it's a bit of a roller coaster that had us all watching through our fingers, half wondering if she was going to crash and burn. As a child, she found herself in a hell most people can't even imagine. A family member turned into the worst kind of monster, leaving her with emotional scars that would make even the toughest among us flinch. And what did she do? She turned to food. Because, let's be real, food doesn't judge you, doesn't hurt you, until it does.
Most of the time, I'm like, maybe it'd be better if I just don't wake up, because every single day I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, what did you do to yourself? A human body should not look the way my body looks. That is the most disgusting thing in the world. I'm so big, I'm almost to the point where I can't even take care of myself.
By the time Brittani made her debut on the show, she was tipping the scales at over 600 pounds. It's easy to sit back and judge to say, why didn't she just stop eating? But that's the thing. When food is your only escape, it's not that simple. And Brittani was trapped in a vicious cycle, one that her husband, Bill, might have unintentionally made worse. It's tough being in Bill's shoes, too. He wanted to be there for her, to make her feel better. But sometimes that meant handing her the very thing that was dragging her down. It's a messed up kind of love, where every act of kindness might just be another nail in the coffin.
Her personality was bubbly, and I wanted to join the bubble, I guess.
So we got married, and it's been me and Bill against everything since then. I needed someone to tell me that I'm okay, and that never happened before in my life. I've wondered if I've been a disappointment to him.
Brittani hit a point where life was no longer bearable. The physical pain was overwhelming, but it was the emotional pain that was truly suffocating her. So she reached out to Dr. Now in Houston. He laid it out for Brittani with all the tenderness of a brick through a window. You need to lose weight, he said, and he didn't sugarcoat it. No surgery until she proved she could stick to a strict 1,200-calorie diet and, heaven forbid, get off the couch and exercise.
I've never been on a road trip like this, and I'm scared I might not make the journey. From Tualatin to Houston will take 6 days, and I've never driven more than 3 hours in a car at this weight. So this is pretty terrifying.
The thing is, changing habits isn't as easy as flipping a switch. Sure, Brittani started off strong, full of that new year, new me energy, but old habits, they have a way of sneaking back in when you least expect it. She missed appointments with Dr. Now. armed with a fresh excuse each time. Honestly, it was almost comical, except for the fact that her life was on the line. Dr. Now, probably more patient than any of us would be, kept giving her chances, tossing her lifelines she seemed determined to ignore. You can almost picture him shaking his head thinking, is she ever going to get it together?
I feel like this is a fresh start for Bill and me. We've never had a normal husband and wife relationship, and I feel like I can start being a wife to him. And for the first time in our marriage, we can start to get closer. Like that grilled chicken breast looks really good. That's what I'm getting.
It's been a while since we've been out to dinner.
And then, just when it seemed like Brittani might be content to coast along in the cycle of half-hearted attempts, something clicked. She got back on track, finally dropping enough weight to qualify for bariatric surgery. After the surgery, the weight didn't just come off, it practically evaporated. 230 pounds gone, like a ghost in the night.
The past few months have been amazing. I have made so much progress. I am doing so much more, and I have so much more energy. I'm able to help Bill in the mornings, make him breakfast, do the laundry, and I clean, and it may sound really boring to someone, but it's what I've always wanted.
As Brittany's losing the weight, she's definitely back to the Brittany I knew when I first met her. We're able to do more and more together.
If these stories are hitting you hard, imagine living through them. Drop a comment below on which moment struck you the most, and let's keep the conversation going on how strength can emerge from the most unexpected places. Let's talk about Kisa McMillian, a woman whose life was one never-ending test of endurance. Seriously, how much can one person handle before the universe just decides, yeah, that's enough? Kisa's life was a mix of physical pain, emotional baggage, and, let's be real, a heart that seemed more like a ticking time bomb than an organ designed to keep you alive. Imagine waking up every day knowing your heart could give out on you at any second. Not exactly the stuff motivational posters are made of, right?
It's just humiliating, and I hate that I've done this to myself and let things get this bad. But I have no choice. I have to have help to even clean myself. And so me and two of my daughters live with my sister Mindy and her daughter Lily, so my sister can take care of me. Because I just can't do it anymore with all of the weight that's on my body now.
By the time she hit 39, Kisa had been through the ringer more times than anyone should. We're talking about someone who carried not just her body weight, 643 pounds if you can believe it, but also the weight of years of emotional trauma. The kind of trauma that no amount of comfort food can really soothe, though it certainly tries. And the cherry on top? A heart attack that was less of a surprise and more of an inevitable punchline to a really bad joke. The only thing worse than your heart being a literal ticking time bomb is knowing that the bomb squad, aka the doctors, doesn't have a clue how to defuse it.
You think you can do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with your heart history, having a heart attack, you're not going to be a good candidate for weight loss surgery unless you lose a lot of weight. And make sure the surgery is going to be safe. So between this point and the point that you're going to be safe to have surgery, I want you to lose 100 pounds. And I want you to do that over the next 2 months.
Enter Dr. Nowzaradan, a man with the patience of a saint and the bedside manner of a drill sergeant. When he met Kisa, he saw the mess that was her health and decided it was time to play the most dangerous game of operation ever. Immediate surgery was the call, but her heart was in such terrible shape that just getting through the operation without flatlining was a miracle in itself. Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. You can almost hear the doctor saying, well, we could try this, but don't hold your breath unless that helps.
Her health is about to start deteriorating rapidly and get to a point here soon that we won't be able to bring her back from, especially with the poor condition of her heart. My biggest concern right now is the possibility that she may have some sort of intestinal blockage that may require surgery to address to prevent it from becoming life-threatening for her. But her heart may be too weak for her to survive any sort of operation right now.
But But here's the thing about Kisa. She wasn't one to just lie down and take it, even if that's exactly what life was pushing her to do. She started making progress, albeit slowly, under Dr. Now's relentless watch. She lost 150 pounds, which is like losing an entire human being. And just when you think things might be looking up, life swoops in with yet another cruel twist. Sure, she lost the weight, but it still wasn't enough for the life-saving surgery she needed. But Dr. Now, bless his heart, decided to go for it anyway. Maybe it was out of sheer desperation, or maybe he just didn't like losing. Either way, he decided to roll the dice.
That this operation will help keep her going in the right direction long enough to get her to start taking more responsibility for her situation to do what she needs. Because what this operation does is that it removes 80 to 90% of the stomach, leaving a small narrow tube that looks similar to a sleeve. This limits the amount of food that the patient can eat at one time, and also changes the patient's metabolism so they feel less hungry. So this operation will give them an opportunity to lose even more weight.
Imagine this. You're stuck in bed for 2 years, not because you are lazy or enjoying some kind of extended vacation, but because your body has turned into a cage that weighs over 800 pounds. That was Teretha's life. Being entirely dependent on others for everything, even the most basic tasks. And let me tell you, that's not the kind of dependence that anyone would want. It's the kind that makes you question every decision that led you there, and perhaps even question your will to keep going.
It's been 2 years since I've been able to get up out of this bed. I'm not okay not being able to go out. I mean, months go by, I don't go outside. Hell, seasons change, and I don't get to go outside. And I can no longer take care of myself.
But then, something snapped. Maybe it was the humiliation. Maybe it was the sheer exhaustion of living like that. Or maybe it was just that inner voice saying, enough is enough. Teretha decided to get out of that bed and visit Dr. Now. Now, if you know anything about Dr. Now, you know that he's not the type to hold your hand and tell you everything's gonna be okay. No, he's more likely to look you dead in the eye and tell you to get your act together, or else.
I'm gonna lose it all anyway, so I have to go.
Here you go, ma'am.
Hi.
You ready to go?
But like, this is overwhelming.
1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna roll it the other way.
Okay, wait. You guys don't have a stretcher?
No, we're gonna carry you.
No, you're not.
I got 9 strapping men.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
And that's exactly what Teretha did. She got her act together and managed to lose a staggering 200 pounds during her first hospital stay. Imagine that, losing 2 whole people's worth of weight. It's almost as if she was shedding years of pain, layer by layer. That kind of weight loss is not just a physical transformation. It's like peeling away the excuses, the self-pity, and the doubt. It's brutal, but necessary.
Last time was 6:30, but they weighed me in the bed.
You shouldn't be immobile at 630 pounds. You must be higher than that. What kind of diet you following?
My doctor has me on a 2,000 calorie diet, 4 carbs a meal.
2,000 calories?
No, I take that back. 1,800.
1,800? 1,800 for somebody being in bed doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What are your medical conditions?
I have asthma, diabetes, high blood pressure.
After the initial success, she went under the knife for weight loss surgery. The pounds kept falling off, another 221 pounds to be exact. At this point, you'd think she'd be on top of the world, right? But no, life has a way of throwing curveballs. When she checked in with Dr. Now again, she was down to 592 pounds. A huge improvement, but still a long way to go.
We need to talk about your situation right now. We're gonna keep you here and put you back on controlled diet. And we need to be a little bit more proactive about your ability to do exercise. You need to get up. There is no excuse for this. So here's the rule that I'm gonna give you. You're gonna do what we tell you to do. You want help? follow the rules. You want surgery, follow the rules. Or the next time you have a medical issue, we're not going to be able to pull you out.
Despite the impressive weight loss, Teretha's story took a turn for the worse once she got back home. She started gaining weight again and ended up bedridden, just like before. But here's where things get interesting. She went back to Dr. Now, who performed surgery to remove lymphedema from her leg. This allowed her to walk again, albeit with pain. The pain was too much, and she ended up in rehab. And rehab? Well, let's just say it wasn't the miracle cure she was hoping for. After a month of grueling effort with little to show for it, she went back home to Detroit. Feeling inspired? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to join us for more stories that prove no challenge is too big when the human spirit is involved. Let's keep spreading these powerful stories together.
This change is hard because in my head, I still want to eat everything, but my body says no right now. So I don't have that comfort inside when I eat. I'm scared. And right now, I'm just having second thoughts about if I could do this.